Hello everyone, this is Betsy from Ideas Times 2, and today I have a tutorial for you how to make a little golden book ring bound cover for your junk journals. So these are a lot of fun to make, and I make it, as far as I know, I make it a little bit differently than other people, where I leave the whole cover intact and all the pages are intact without any trimming. So hopefully you'll find this helpful. It could be that other people have done it this way. I just haven't seen it. So anyway, here we go. Let's get started. So the first thing you'll need is a little golden book. And the way I do it, where we leave the entire cover intact, we're going to go ahead and separate the front and back covers and take all the pages out. So the first thing to do is peel off the spine, this beautiful metallic spine that they're so known for, and that's what I've already done that. I didn't want to make you watch me do that. And the best way is to peel it and then go this way. Like if you try peeling and then peel downwards, because if you try peeling it on the back, especially if you try to peel it this way, you might damage your outside cover. So we just want to just peel that up, either upwards like this or this way, peeling it this way. All right, so I haven't had any trouble with that, but I can see where it could be, like if you're just going to rip, if there's a loose piece here and you rip it this way, I can see that sort of damaging that. So we just be careful, but it comes apart pretty easily. In fact, I had an old one that I did not too long ago. It was pretty old. I didn't look at the copyright, but the photos looked to me like, or the illustrations looked to me in the 30s or 40s probably, and it fell right off. Like I went like this to sort of peel up the edges, and the whole thing just came right off. So I have a whole intact spine paper. So I thought that was interesting. So just take off all the papers. You can use some of these bigger little bits. You could use those in a collage or something for inside the book. I think that'd be lots of fun. All right, so now we've got our cover, our spineless cover. And then we're going to need to take off staples. Generally, they have 2 staples, and so we're going to flip it around to the back. I still have a little paper covering that. All right, and then we're going to take the staples out. So what we do, take a screwdriver. Don't damage your craft tools. Take a screwdriver, put them underneath these little prongs, and lift them straight upward. Oops, almost got my finger there. Well, actually I did. It just nicked it. Okay, so there we've got the prongs straight up. And then you'll flip it to the front and get your screwdriver under there again and pull out that staple. I need a little muscle. I must have the prongs sort of at an angle, because it's usually not that hard, but that was kind of hard. And then just throw those puppies away because they're dangerous. Dangerous, I tell you. All right, do the same thing over here. Turn it to the back and get the prongs straight up and down if possible. Let's see. There we go. Straight up and down, and then pull this up. This golden book has strong staples. Oh, this is kind of funny. Kind of funny. Plus my screwdriver's not too big either, so it doesn't have a lot of leverage. Okay, done. And look what I did to my screwdriver. I have never had a golden book that was that hard to get off. Oh well, I will fix that as good as I can. All right, now we've got our 2 covers, and all these lovely pages. So save the pages. What I usually do, if you want to, what I usually do is just slice them just a tiny bit here to make separate pages, because it won't work if you keep the two pages together like this. For one thing, the story won't be in order, and for another thing, it would rip down the middle, because our ring binders, all the pages will lay completely flat this way, and we don't want to have this intact, because that will kind of fold upwards and it won't lay flat, and then they might rip as well. So anyway, so these all have to be separate pages if you're going to put them in your journal. You could just use these for ephemera or collaging. Look at how cute that is with the poppy. So cute. So you could, use it that way too, but I generally put them intact, page by page in order in the book. And then you can intersperse it with regular pages, tea stain paper, decorator paper, whatever. So now we've got our two covers. I'm gonna put these pages aside because we're still working on the covers. So let's get those covers, or get those extra pieces off here. That's kind of a good example of what I was talking about, because when I started peeling that, this came up like this, and we don't want that. I might have to glue that down. Okay, so if you have any bumps, like a thin layer of paper is not going to make any difference at all. But if you have any bumps or anything like that, what I usually do is smooth it out with sandpaper or a fingernail emery board, and just smooth out the bumps. And then on the edge too, if you have little bits of paper that stick up, make it nice and smooth. And make sure it's dust free before you move on to the next step. Take a paper towel or something and wipe that down. And before we get started on the next step, I'm going to, look at my glue bottle just cracked open. That's horrible. I'm going to see if it's still, if it'll still come out without squirting everywhere. Oh my goodness. Nope, it's going to squirt everywhere. Okay, so that happened. It broke. The bottle literally just broke. Okay, so let's put a little glue on there just to keep that cover artwork on in the corner. It'll make it a little bit easier. Now I need a paper towel. Okay, the next step is to bind it. So I have one done here already, and I bound the edge with some washi tape, and this is kind of meant to look like the little Golden Books paper spine cover, but anything will work. You could use a contrasting, like red would be super cute on here. You could use a little strip of fabric and just glue it down. So whatever, just bind it to cover up the messy part. We're just covering up the messy part is all we're doing. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the type. So this is not, technically it's not washi tape. I said washi tape. It's Scotch tape, so it's decorator tape, and it's the Scotch, like, super strong tape, right? That's what they're known for, is tape. So that's what I'm going to use on here. I've used this for little Golden Books before, and I really like it on there. But like I said, you could use something else. If you have washi tape that's not, because we know washi tapes are not all created equal. If you have a washi tape that's not very strong, you could still use it. Just make sure to glue it down or put double-sided tape. So, but for now, I'm just using this really nice Scotch tape that I have. I really enjoy this tape for the little Golden Books, and I'll be out soon. But so let's just cover as straight as you can. Lay your tape down, and just covering up the messy part, because we want it to have enough of it actually to wrap around. So I should probably tell you the width of this tape. And let me get out my ruler and measure that for you. Oops. I like to, let's see, no math, do no math. This is 5/8 of an inch wide, and it's plenty wide enough, but it could be slightly wider too. That's fine. All right, so take your tape, run it along there after you've smoothed out all your bumps, and now I think I'll just take my ruler. This is usually my smoothing ruler. So I'm going to just fold this back to the back side, and you can do it however you want, but I sort of like doing this and then folding it all over at one time, and then press it down tightly. This edge didn't quite work for me, but there we go. So obviously this is skinnier than the front is, but we are going to cover that up, so it doesn't matter too much. So just when you're laying down your tape, just make sure the front looks good. All right, so there we have, do this to the front and the back, and then you are ready for the next step. So the next step is to cover up this, and this bends like this, and I like to have it reinforced. So what I'm going to do in the back here is put a piece of chipboard down, cut the height of my book, and this is about 1 1/4 inches wide. It could be about 1 inch wide, that would be fine. So we're going to glue this down, and of course we don't want it to look like this, right? So let's see, I'm going to make sure I do the correct book. I'm going to put this baby animals one aside, because I have gotten started on this one. So what I think I'm going to do is put my tape on this one. Make sure this is the same book. Nope, it is not. I pulled the wrong one. Pulled the wrong one. There we go. So this one is this book, and this one was this book. They're slightly different in color. Make sure I've got the right book covers. I think so. All right, so quickly, so that I can get this book finished, this book cover finished, I might as well put some tape on here too. So it'll just take a minute, and I will do that. I think it'll take a minute, right? I just messed up. Cover up the bad part. Cut it the right size, well, or close, because I'll probably go back and trim that. You may choose to, it could be that you will want this to flap, but I just felt like it needed reinforcing, especially if you have an older book. Those bendy parts get a little weak, so I prefer to do it this way. Okay, so now this is ready to go, and then I'll have my set done. So I should have shown you probably on this book how to put the tape on, but I got my covers mixed up. All right, so there we go. Now we have a set. And then I will take this chipboard and glue it on here. Now, if you have just the chipboard color, that's ugly, so we need to decorate that. And I just chose this cardstock that matches. It has the same tones as this inside parts here. You could put a contrasting color on here, super cute. You could put, flowers or whatever. You could put fabric too. That would be super cute. But just a little strip of it on top of here would be great. Otherwise, you're going to start making it too thick. All right, so I have glued my decorative paper on top already, just like this one. Oh, I can't use that glue bottle. I have another one that's sort of dried up, so I'm going to have to use that. I'll have to transfer all my glue to this one. I can't believe it cracked right there. I guess when I put the lid down, I jam it. I don't know. I don't know. What could that be? What could be the reason? I don't know. Okay, so we're just going to put tons of glue on here. And then line it up carefully, and voila, you have your reinforced completely done, except for the holes cover. All right. Okay. Now the next thing to do is punch holes after this is dry, of course, so I might not be able to show you exactly. Okay. But I have punched holes in this one. So what I do, let's talk about the eyelets first before we do holes. All right, so the eyelets. The eyelets will have to be a little bit bigger than your typical crafting eyelet that you put into your tags and different things. These are going to have to be a little bit bigger. So the hole is a 1/4 inch. Even a little bit bigger than a 1/4 inch would work. And the shank is very important. The shank has to be, this one is 3/16 of an inch, so it's quite a bit longer than your typical crafting one. So 3/16, or you could go up to a 1/4 inch shank if you're not finding the exact size. And I found these at Hobby Lobby, and they were not in the paper crafting section. They were in the leather making section. So check out the leather making section for some great eyelets. They also have eyelets of all sizes at the hardware store. Now you can look for the tool that goes with them, because you're going to have to spread the shank open, right, to keep it in your book. So make sure to look for the tool, and it will be a breeze for you, right? But the tool, my Hobby Lobby did not have the tool that went with these, so I took a chance and I bought them. And what I used to spread the shank out was, I took a chance because I didn't know how I was going to work them. But I have this really old Stampin' Up! Kit that has the I filmed this earlier and I had taken these out. Oh, no, I don't know where they are. Hang on just a minute. I need to show you what those are, so I'll be right back. This kit, old Stampin' Up! Kit for card making, had all these tools in it, and one of them is an eyelet setter. And so the eyelet setter comes, this kit comes with this little mat to protect your surface. It has a tiny little hammer, and then this is the spreader. So it has a pointed edge, or pointed tip here, and then this side, or this tip here is flat for hammering. So what you do is you take your, I'll show you in a second. And I'm not gonna do the eyelet right now because I'll do it on the floor and it would be loud and obnoxious, so I'm not going to actually do the eyelet, but I'll show you how it's done. So the first thing you need to do is punch holes in here. Now, as far as the holes go, I don't have like an adjustable one of these. Like almost everybody has one of these at home, right? This is not adjustable at all. I know they make them adjustable, and maybe that would be worth investing in. I don't think they're too expensive. So the only hole puncher that I have is this We Are Memory Keepers one that is small enough for this book. That other one is just too big, not adjustable. Okay, so what I had to do is I had to line up. What I did was I lined up my book to the puncher here, and I did a center punch, and then as far to the top and as far to the bottom as you can get, and then this one just gives me all kinds of trouble. I don't know what it is. So I'm gonna see if I can do that on camera here. Come on. There we go. So I made a template and centered it and then punched it down. So I've got my template, And you'll be punching your pages with this too, or your, you know, whatever method you have. This is the only thing I had. And then I lined up my template to my cover and put little dots. And then the way I punch the holes, because I don't have a hole puncher, this kit, the Stampin' Up! Kit actually came with a hole puncher. This is really thick, and it was not gonna do very well with it. So since this is such and has a lot of torque, so it's an excellent hole puncher. So you would go up to the 3/16 inch mark if you're going to use this tool, which is what I did, but that's going to be too small, but I'll show you how to make them bigger. So just take the hole puncher, punch where your marks are, and I find the best place to put these is like half on the washi tape and half on the little ditch where the bended part was. So half and half on, half off, half on. And then I punched the hole right through the cover and the chipboard, and then you've got a nice hole. So this is such a great puncher. I thought that would be an easy way to start the hole, but you have to make it a little bigger. So what I do is I take my craft knife and I just wind it in the hole, in the back, and then in the front, and keep checking your eyelet to make sure you're not getting the hole too big, because you do not want to get it too big. There, and so it wasn't too bad, right? It was just a little wiggling of the knife, and then the eyelet will fit right in. And then I took this. You may need to trim with your craft knife. I've noticed that before too. Just trim off that extra little hanging things that are bound to happen. Okay. I'm not gonna do this in front of you, but I just want to show you how I do it. So you'll take there's the shank of my eyelet. Just kind of poke it through really well. Take your pointy end, if you're using this type of tool, and then hammer it. And I'm telling you, these eyelets are so wonderful. They're not sharp once you get them through. Like, you can see it right there. This one is done. This one is just poked through, and that one is just poked through. I haven't actually spread the prongs out or the eyelet shank back yet. So, but you can see here, and I don't know, I have so much trouble with the crocodile because those eyelets are, the parts that bend over are so sharp that I have to go back with a hammer and do all kinds of stuff. But these are actually wonderful, and they smooth out really well. So anyway, that's how I put the eyelets in. So do that to the front and back covers, and make sure you've got your tool so you know exactly how far apart to put those holes in the cover, because your pages are you're gonna have to repeat the whole process for all the pages. And so of course we want it to be all lined up and nice and easy. So that is the cover. And then you're going to fill it with whatever pages you'd like, whatever you'd like. As I said, I usually try to put the story in there in order, but in between the pages I'll put decorative pages or tea stained or plain, and then comes the next page in the book and that type of a thing. So you could read the whole story once you get your junk journal done, but you can do it however you would like. Okay, so that part is done. Now just a little bit about the pages. I generally keep the pages the same size as the cover. I don't trim these at all, but you definitely could trim all of the book pages. And then and especially like this one has a margin. You can see the white margin there. So you could definitely trim those off. Just make sure you're not, and I think they leave plenty of room generally. You're not going to cut off too much of your design. It probably won't be too bad, but just keep that in mind where your margins are, and trim if you'd like to. Like generally we keep our margins 1/4 inch at the top and on the side and on the bottom, right? So just do your measurements accordingly and do those how you would like. I'm going to keep these the same size as the book. So then I would take a few pages at a time and go ahead and punch these. Generally what I do is use this template though, because because this doesn't have edges, because I'm using the full board, it doesn't have edges where my paper can rest on. You know what I mean? So like you could be off an 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch if you're just eyeballing it. So I generally take my template first and line it up. In fact, is what you could do is line your template up with your page and then mark it out a little ways, right? So that you can see that mark. Because if you mark it where the holes are, you're not going to be able to see the holes, and then you're at the guessing game. Just like, I'm telling you, that last one just gives me all kinds of fits. So you see my mark right here? I'm going to line that up with the center and then punch it. And then I will have the holes in the right place. Then they should all line up. And then let's talk a little bit about the rings. So I use an inch ring. You could definitely use just a slightly bigger, like 1¼ ring if they have them. And I use the ones that separate. They have a hinge and they separate like that. And so you will line up your book cover, right, and your pages, and then just close her up like that. And then you'll have a beautiful ring-bound journal, which is so easy to expand. If you expand it a lot, you like use lots of pockets and different things, you may need a little bit bigger ring. But for just sort of a blank journal with lightly embellished, these 1-inch rings are perfect. Slightly bigger, 1¼ inch, or if you have a giant journal, you could just use a bigger ring. So that is how I make my full-sized covers for my little Golden Book junk journals. If there are so many wonderful ways to bind these, so if you want to make a full-blown journal with a hard spine and you'd like a tutorial, just let us know. I've also seen the cinch bound, which is like a spiral bound book cover, and if you'd like a tutorial on that, we can make a tutorial for that too. So lots of possibilities for these little golden books. I think they're a fun size. I really enjoy making them. So I hope you enjoyed this as well, and please stay tuned. We have Christmas in July event coming up in our Etsy shop. I'll leave the link for our Etsy shop down below. Lots of fun things coming up for sale with our Christmas in July event. We also have a giveaway. Wow, it took me a long time to come up with that word. We have a giveaway coming up, which is, I've gotten started on the journal. It's a junk journal, and it will be fantastic, and I hope you join us for that. So please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when our videos are uploaded, and hitting the like button also helps other crafters find us, so we appreciate all those things so very much. I'll leave the links for everything where you can find us down below, our Facebook group and our Instagram. And I guess that's it. Take care, everybody. Be well, and we will talk to you soon. Goodbye.